Hi everyone. Today we are going to delve into a topic that is rapidly shifting from a technical concern to a fundamental leadership responsibility: observability. For too long, the intricate details of system performance and health have been relegated to our engineering teams, often seen as a black box that only they can understand. However, in our increasingly complex digital landscape, the ability to truly understand what our systems are doing, why they are behaving a certain way, and how that impacts our business is no longer optional. It is a strategic imperative. If we, as leaders, cannot clearly see and comprehend the operational state of our digital infrastructure, we cannot effectively lead our organizations, make informed decisions, or maintain our competitive edge. This briefing will illuminate why visibility into your systems is not just a technical detail but a critical strategic asset that demands your attention and investment. Let's begin by establishing a clear understanding of what observability truly means. At its core, observability is the ability to infer the internal states of a system by examining its external outputs. It's about asking arbitrary questions about your system without having to deploy new code. This capability is built upon three foundational pillars. First, metrics. These are quantitative measurements collected over time, providing a numerical representation of system behavior. Think of CPU utilization, memory consumption, network latency, error rates, or even business-specific KPIs like conversion rates. Metrics are excellent for identifying trends, setting alerts, and understanding the overall health and performance at a high level. They tell us the how much or how often of our system's operations. Second, logs. Logs are immutable, time-stamped records of discrete events that occur within a system. Every action, every transaction, every error generates a log entry. These detailed event records capture exactly what happened, when it happened, and often why it happened. Logs are invaluable for debugging, auditing, and understanding the sequence of events leading up to a particular state or failure. They provide the granular what and when of system activity. And third, traces. Traces provide an end-to-end view of a request journey as it propagates through a distributed system. In modern microservices architectures, a single user action might touch dozens of different services. Tracing allows us to visualize this entire flow, identifying bottlenecks, latency issues, and points of failure across multiple services. Traces answer the where and how a request moved through our complex ecosystem. Together, these three pillars form a comprehensive data set that empowers us to answer the fundamental question: what is my system actually doing right now? This isn't just about collecting data. It's about having the right data in the right context to understand and troubleshoot complex systems effectively. It's crucial to distinguish between monitoring and observability, as they are often conflated. While both are essential for system health, their approaches and capabilities differ significantly. Monitoring is akin to a predefined checklist. It tells you when something is wrong by tracking down failure modes and alerting on thresholds you have already anticipated. For example, if your CPU usage exceeds 90% for 5 minutes, monitoring will trigger an alert. It's excellent for stable, predictable systems where you know what to look for. The outcome is often a simple status. The dashboard is red. Monitoring is about answering questions you already know to ask. Observability, on the other hand, tells you why something is wrong. It's about enabling the exploration of unknown unknowns. In today's dynamic distributed systems, new failure modes emerge constantly. Observability allows your teams to ask new ad hoc questions about system behavior without needing to deploy new code or add new instrumentation. It provides the depth and context to diagnose novel issues. The outcome is not just an alert, but the ability to say we can find the root cause even for something we have never seen before. As leaders, understanding this distinction is vital. Observability is not merely better monitoring. It's a fundamentally different capability that empowers proactive problem solving and innovation. So why must leaders, not just engineers, own observability? The reasons extend far beyond the server room and directly impact our strategic objectives. First, business impact. Downtime is no longer just an IT problem. It's a direct hit to our bottom line. The average cost of IT downtime exceeds $5,600 per minute for enterprises. Investing in robust observability directly reduces incident duration and limits the blast radius of failures, protecting revenue and customer trust. It's a direct investment in business continuity. Second, competitive velocity. In a fast-paced market, the ability to innovate and deploy quickly is paramount. Teams with mature observability practices deploy more frequently with fewer rollbacks. Why? Because they have the confidence that they can see and understand the impact of their changes. This visibility enables safer, faster innovation, giving us a significant competitive advantage. Third, team health. On-call burnout is a silent killer of engineering talent. Poor tooling and a lack of visibility lead to frustrating 3 a.m. pages for issues that could have been caught earlier or even prevented. A strong observability culture reduces this toil, leading to happier, more productive engineers who can focus on building, not just firefighting. It's a critical factor in talent retention and morale. Finally, risk and compliance. Regulators and auditors increasingly expect demonstrable system controls and operational governance. Observability provides the evidence, the audit trails, the performance data, the incident response metrics that we are operating our systems responsibly and securely. It's a key component of our overall risk management strategy. These aren't just technical benefits. They are strategic imperatives that directly influence our financial performance, market position, talent acquisition, and regulatory standing. Let's quantify the cost of neglecting observability. The numbers are stark and underscore the urgency of this discussion. Without mature observability, the average time to detect a production incident can be as high as 4.5 hours. Think about that, nearly half a workday before we even realize a critical system is impaired. This delay directly translates to lost revenue, damaged reputation, and frustrated customers. Furthermore, an alarming 70% of engineering time is often lost to reactive firefighting. This means a significant portion of your highly paid engineering talent is not building new features, not innovating, but instead scrambling to fix problems that could have been prevented or resolved much faster with better visibility. This is a massive drain on productivity and a misallocation of valuable resources. And when incidents do occur, the mean time to resolution or MTTR can be 3 to 5 times longer without distributed tracing. Teams are forced to guess, cycle through hypotheses, and manually piece together information under immense pressure, prolonging outages and exacerbating their impact. This flying blind approach leads to longer outages, slower delivery cycles, and a significant erosion of customer trust. Repeated incidents signal organizational dysfunction, not just technical failure. Moreover, it leads to talent drain. Engineers leave teams where the tooling makes their jobs harder and their nights miserable. Without reliable data, technical debt compounds, and we can't prioritize what truly needs fixing. The cost of flying blind is not just financial, it's a systematic risk to our entire organization. To understand where we stand and where we need to go, let's consider the observability maturity model. Organizations typically progress through 5 levels. L1, reactive. At this stage, we only know about problems when customers tell us. There's little to no automated alerting, and troubleshooting relies heavily on tribal knowledge and manual investigation. This is the most dangerous and costly level. L2, aware. Here we have basic dashboards and some alerts, perhaps for critical infrastructure metrics. Logs exist, but they are often siloed and not easily searchable or correlated. We are starting to see some signals, but still largely reacting. L3, proactive. This is where we see centralized logging and metrics platforms. On-call runbooks are in place, and teams have a better understanding of their systems. We can often identify issues before they impact a wide range of users. L4, predictive. At this level, organizations leverage distributed tracing, service level objectives, and advanced analytics to catch anomalies before they become customer-facing incidents. There's a strong focus on proactive identification and prevention. L5, optimizing. This is the pinnacle. Observability data doesn't just inform incident response. It drives continuous improvement across the entire software development lifecycle. It's integrated into product planning, architecture decisions, and business strategy. Anomalies are not just detected, they are often predicted and prevented through automated remediation. The reality is most teams self-assess at L2 or L3, but their operational reality often places them firmly at L1. As leaders, our goal is to drive our organizations towards L4 and L5, transforming observability from a cost center into a strategic enabler. Moving up the maturity model requires deliberate leadership action. Here are 5 concrete steps you can take. 1. Fund the foundation. Observability tooling is not a luxury. It's essential infrastructure. Dedicate consistent engineering capacity and budget to building and maintaining these capabilities. This is the control plane for everything you deliver, enabling efficient operations and faster innovation. 2. Define SLOs, not just SLAs. Service level agreements are external contracts. Service level objectives are internal targets that make reliability a shared product goal. Leadership must set clear SLOs, review them regularly, and hold teams accountable. This shifts the focus from simply meeting external promises to proactively ensuring internal quality and user satisfaction. 3. Require it in the SDLC or software development lifecycle. Make observability a non-negotiable definition of done criterion. No feature should ship without proper instrumentation, logging, and tracing. Embed this requirement early in the software development lifecycle, ensuring that observability is built in, not bolted on. 4. Review incidents, not just postmortems. Beyond the technical details of a postmortem, leaders should ask critical questions. How long did it take to detect this incident? And how did we find the root cause? These questions reveal systemic weaknesses in our observability practices and highlight areas for improvement at an organizational level. 5. Invest in platform teams. Centralized observability platforms remove toil from individual product teams. By providing standardized, easy-to-use tools and expertise, platform teams act as a force multiplier, allowing product teams to focus on their core mission while benefiting from world-class visibility. This prevents fragmentation and ensures consistency across the organization. These actions will lay the groundwork for a truly observable and resilient organization. While tools and processes are important, the most significant barrier to effective observability is often cultural. A healthy observability culture is characterized by the you build it, you run it philosophy, where teams take end-to-end ownership of their services, including their operational health. Incidents are viewed as learning opportunities, not blame assignments. Postmortems focus on systemic improvements rather than individual fault. Dashboards and observability data are regularly reviewed in sprint reviews and planning sessions, integrating operational insights directly into development cycles. New engineers are onboarded through the observability toolchain, instilling a mindset of operational awareness from day one. Reliability work is recognized and celebrated, not invisible, ensuring that investments in stability are valued. Conversely, watch out for these warning signs. The ops team owns all observability tools in isolation, creating a chasm between development and operations. Alerting is seen as someone else's problem, leading to missed signals and delayed responses. Incident retrospectives focus on blame rather than systemic fixes, fostering a culture of fear and defensiveness. Developers frequently say, "It works on my machine," after incidents, indicating a lack of shared understanding of production environments. No defined SLOs means reliability is purely subjective, making it impossible to measure and improve consistently. Addressing these cultural challenges is paramount. It requires consistent communication, clear expectations, and a commitment from leadership to foster a blameless learning environment. Transforming our observability posture is a journey, not a destination. Here's a practical 90-day roadmap to get started. Days 1 to 30, diagnose. Begin by auditing your current tooling and practices. Identify your top 5 most critical services and interview on-call engineers to understand their pain points. Crucially, quantify your current mean time to detection or MTTD and mean time to resolution MTTR to establish a baseline. You can't improve what you don't measure. Days 31 to 60 instrument. Focus on centralizing log aggregation and defining the three golden signals: latency, traffic, errors and saturation for your critical services. Establish clear alerting standards and begin shipping your first service level objective dashboards. This phase is about getting the right data flowing and making it accessible. Day 61 to 90 embed. Integrate observability into your definition of done for all new features. Run your first structured game day or chaos engineering experiment to test your systems and your team's response under control condition. Link reliability metrics directly to product planning, and importantly, document and share your wins to build momentum and demonstrate value. This phase is about making observability a habit, not an afterthought. This roadmap provides a structured, achievable path to building a more resilient and observable organization. In conclusion, observability is not merely a tool purchase or a technical project. It is an organizational capability, a strategic investment that requires unwavering leadership commitment. You simply cannot lead effectively what you cannot see. My call to action for you today is threefold. Ask your engineering leads, what are our current mean time to detection and mean time to resolution? Understand these metrics intimately. Sponsor one observability improvement sprint this quarter. Dedicate resources to a focused effort that enhances our visibility. Add reliability and visibility to your engineering review criteria. Make it a core part of how we evaluate success. And finally, treat the first incident post-mortem as a learning event, not a blame session. Foster a culture where we learn from failures to build stronger systems. Observability gives you the power to lead with confidence, to make data-driven decisions, and to ensure the resilience and innovation of our digital future. If you like this content, please like, comment, share and subscribe for similar content in the future. See you in another video. Until then, elevate.